Hello everybody, my name is Marek Kiczkowiak and I'm the founder of TEFL Equity Advocates and Academy, where I help non-native speaker teachers gain confidence and boost their employability. And in this video, I want to talk about what native speakerism is, so that you understand the phenomena that you're constantly battling against whenever your CV is turned down because you're a non-native speaker. And it is crucial to understand what native speakerism is, so that you also know how you can tackle it and ultimately get hired as a non-native speaker teacher. So let's get started. What is native speakerism? You might have come across the term before on discussions about equal opportunities for non-native speakers. So let's look at a definition from a very recent book by Horton and Rivers. So native speakerism can be defined as a prejudice, stereotyping and/or discrimination, typically by or against foreign language teachers on the basis of either being or not being perceived and categorized as a native speaker of a particular language. Its endorsement positions individuals from certain language groups as being innately superior to individuals of other language groups. So what does this mean? Well, in other words, you can think of native speakerism similarly to the ideology of sexism or the ideology of racism. The difference is, of course, that unlike sexism, which is based on gender, or racism, which is based on race, native speakerism is based on a perceived belonging to the native speaker group, or the perceived nativeness of a given person. But of course, similarly to the ideologies of sexism and racism, native speakerism does not spread in a vacuum. On the other hand, it is normalized, justified, and spread in English language teaching through what we can call common sense, what seem like common sense discourses, or what seem like common sense beliefs. And then these beliefs are further enshrined in what seem like very common sense social practices or things that we do. What does this mean? It might sound a little bit theoretical, so let me give you a practical example of how the ideology of native speakerism is normalized and justified in ELT through beliefs and practices. So one of the most fundamental native speakerist beliefs is that a native speaker, by definition, is a better model of pronunciation and therefore a better teacher of pronunciation. And it might seem like something common sense. After all, who would be a better model of pronunciation than a native speaker? And this belief is further enshrined in social practices in ELT, things that we as teachers might do in the classroom. So for example, we might focus more on standard native speaker models of pronunciation, such as British or American English. Coursebook writers might predominantly use standard native speaker voices in their recordings, and these practices, which seem common sense on the surface of them, these practices lead to further justifying and normalizing native speakerism. So to sum up, native speakerism is an ideology, just like sexism or racism, and it is based on the perceived belonging to the native speaker group of a given person. And native speakerism is further perpetuated and spread in English language teaching through certain beliefs and practices. And it is really important to understand this, because whenever you're refused a job because you're a non-native speaker, fundamentally what you're battling against is the ideology, the wider ideology of native speakerism. And the recruitment bias is just one reflection of this ideology. Therefore, in order to be able to tackle native speakerism, in order to be able to get hired as a non-native speaker, you really need to understand how native speakerism as an ideology works. And in one of my future videos, I'm going to talk in more detail about how native speakerism is justified in our profession, so you can tackle these very beliefs that lead to the spread of native speakerism and ultimately increase your chances of getting hired as a non-native speaker teacher. And if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to download my completely free guide. 6 foolproof tips to boost your professional profile and get hired as a non-native speaker teacher. By reading this guide, you will learn exactly what you need to do to create a solid professional profile and to increase your chances of getting hired as a non-native speaker despite the discrimination and native speaker bias. You can download the guide by following the link in the description to this video.